That was not my best. Hello, everyone. Anyone watching the live stream,
Hello.
please help us figure out a weekly poll because we cannot.
Yes, please. We don't know what to do.
There
Wait, why am I? Oh, and I'm in window hell over here.
Weekly poll would be greatly appreciated. All right. Other than that, we're good to go though on this show, pretty much.
Did you start the live stream?
I did.
It's not moving.
That would mean it's not live.
Yeah, it says waiting for Coaster Talk podcast.
I mean, on my end it says I'm live, so and it says excellent connection. I don't know, Bob. I think that might be your end there. I'll look on
YouTube. I even tried a separate browser.
I am on the stream right now.
And it's moving?
It's loading. But stream right now. There it is. Yeah, now I see us. I think that might be your end there then.
Nope. Even on mobile.
I'm watching the stream right now on YouTube.
Dude.
I'm sorry, I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now. I'm watching it on my end. I'll go get my phone too. One second. That might just be poor internet connection in your area. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's YouTube servers are backed up. I don't know. Yeah, here it is on my mobile too. It's live.
What the hell? Dude, how's that possible?
I don't know. It's weird.
Honest to God, like this is not right.
Alright, we definitely need to figure out weekly poll though, so. Importante.
It even says now it's now the live event will begin in a few moments. Waiting.
You're breaking up really badly. I don't know what's going on. I hate nights like this when technology just does not want to cooperate.
Me too.
Alright, there you're back again. Full sounds good.
Other stuff's playing on YouTube.
I don't know. It might just be the live stuff. I don't know. I know it says ask us any questions, but again, if anyone's out there, deeply
Oh, look, there we go.
would appreciate any thought you have out there for a weekly poll. We'll change it around probably a little bit, but so you were talking about this week Japan asking theme park visitors to not scream on their rides. Gatorland doing the skunk ape.
Yeah.
Tony Clark's folder, SeaWorld, Busch, Universal, Frontier City, and Disney all announcing opening dates. Then we're going to talk about Dorney Park. Highlight Dorney Park, talk about that park a little bit. Then we'll talk about the weekly poll we asked last week, and then with the weekly poll for this week. And we don't know what that is. There.
Indeed, we don't.
All right.
There is a place.
There is a place. Somewhere.
I don't understand this. Like, I can see, well, like blacklist me or something. Like, just
Why are you breaking up?
It makes no sense at all.
Why? I don't understand what's going on.
My video connected thing keeps, like, it was bouncing down a little bit.
This is not going to be a good night to record if this is what's going on.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that. My YouTube on my computer still says waiting for Coaster Talk podcast.
That's
I don't
weird.
understand.
That's really weird. I don't know.
Well, wait.
Weekly poll.
Now it's okay. Now it's there. It looks all weird, but
All right, so
I don't know, man.
start a week.
All kinds of weird stuff going on here. Weekly poll. Do you hate McDonald's?
Do you like bread?
Just random.
Yeah, just not even. It's
pick
just
the
doesn't say
random
roller coaster
thing
related
ever.
poll. It just says weekly poll. It doesn't say it has to be a roller coaster.
It's true.
We'll just start doing like a rant. Is bread relevant?
It is not. It is no longer relevant.
Parental influence, Bob. It's all parental influence. Kids only like bread because parents tell them to like bread. I'm telling
right.
you.
That's exactly right.
Oh, God. Man, oh man. I can't think of... Every week we have a good... Normally the weekly poll is one of the first things we...
Oh, no. Why?
Oh. For the 5th or 6th time, anybody out there?
Please say
something.
people that are watching us.
Please say something. Just say anything controversial. Anything. Oh my gosh.
Oh. Wait, I think I might have figured out what's going on.
With Discord or with YouTube?
With YouTube.
That is different.
There's 2 different streams.
There's one stream. Oh, there might be 2 different streams, honestly. I think I might have done. I think I might have started one a while ago, actually, now that I think about it.
Yes, that's what's going on.
No,
That's
there's
why
not.
it was.
Never mind. No, there's
Yeah,
not.
there are.
No, there's not.
I have 2 completely different links.
I have one link that's up right now. There's only one on my YouTube feed. It would show 2 different ones if I had 2 different ones up there.
Well, there are people waiting in the other one.
I can see all my videos on my channel, Bob. I am the moderator of my channel. I mean, I'm the owner of the channel. There's no other video. That might be a glitch on your end again, because I'm looking at the YouTube channel. I
Dude,
don't see.
here's the link. Because you can even see, click that link, you can see where I even posted something in the chat.
Ah, there's nobody waiting in that one though. There's.
It says wait. On my side, it says there's somebody waiting.
I only see. Oh, okay. I'll just delete that one then. I don't know why
And I
that's
think
not
that's
showing
the
up.
one.
It's
I
not
think
showing
that's the
up
one I
on the
put
thing,
in.
though.
That's weird.
It must be on a different file. I must have to go to like the, since it's not actually live
That's the
right
one
now.
I actually put on Twitter.
Well, then you might want to change that.
I'm working on it. You creating multiple links and stuff.
Hey, sometimes I have a good idea and I go, hey, why don't I start the live stream for this week early and I'll just put it up there so that way when we get there, I'll just click on that link and I'll start it from there. And then sometimes I don't do that, so I forget that I did do that in the first place. So, and then YouTube is obviously not cooperative at all because it's taking like 4 hours for me to get over to this page. I bet you everyone's like sitting there like, where are they? And we're all like, yeah, there's no one waiting on that one. Everyone we've had 9 people watch this one right now, and nobody's watched the other one, so at least that's good.
Okay, again. I don't. Man, this is so ridiculous. I have a feeling this might be a long night.
Not if we can just figure out a weekly poll.
We'll still be thinking of a weekly poll tomorrow. Here's one. Do you think parks should delay 2020 new rides for until 2021?
I think everyone's going to say no.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty no. If anyone
That's
said,
true.
I don't know if anyone.
Well, yeah.
Yes, delay your 2020 attraction. That's what I want.
You think it makes business sense to do so?
I don't know. I mean, I think it might honestly draw more people out at this point. You know, I mean, if they're afraid of people coming to the park, not coming to the park because of COVID and being scared, then hey, we got a new ride might influence them more to come out. So maybe they will get booked reservations. I'm surprised. Frontier City, I'm surprised it got booked like that quick. I didn't think such a small park would.
Thing is, I wonder how many they're letting in. It's like maximum capacity is 50 people.
Yeah. All right. This is sucking. Weekly poll. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. you know what movie that's from?
Mm-mm. Maybe I do.
From Vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
When he's about to jump in the
It's been a
pool,
while since I've seen that.
he goes,
Oh, yeah.
"This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy."
All right, just put. What do you think Tony's teasing?
I feel like it's kind of a.
I don't know, man.
Usually you're the great. You're usually like.
I know my brain's broke.
Maybe something along the lines of, "Are you staying local or are you gonna go?"
Sure, that works. I don't really care at this point.
I don't know. I don't know, Bob.
I really don't know. Like my brain. I don't know. I can't think of anything. I absolutely can't think of anything.
I didn't mean either. I feel like the weekly poll is one of the best parts of the one of the best parts of the show, though. Like, makes people want to go back. So I don't really want to put something like along like it.
Ah, do you think do, do you think it's possible for everybody to not scream on a roller coaster?
I think it's possible.
I don't think.
Do you think they can manage
is.
that? Do you think they can enforce that? Maybe.
I don't think it's possible for certain people to not scream on a roller coaster.
I mean, it's possible physically.
No.
You can stop yourself
It's
from
an
screaming.
autonomic reaction.
It's normal.
Some people can, a lot of people can, but there's people that definitely can't.
I think a vast majority can. Maybe can they enforce that or what, you know?
No, it's an autonomic reaction.
For like
Is it
a minimum amount of people, though, not a lot. Like a majority of normal people can stop from screaming. Just close your mouth. Like I can
not
easily,
people that are scared of a roller coaster?
Yes, people that are scared of roller coasters.
No, dude, I'm telling you.
I know. I was scared of roller coasters. I could close my mouth when I was scared of a roller coaster. I don't think it's a physical like disability. Like you cannot close your mouth. Just like people. I mean, just like you can stop crying when you're like a kid and your parents are like stop crying and you're like I can't. Yes, you can. You're just choosing not to.
No. That's driven by emotion.
So is fear.
So there you go. Look,
fear is an emotion.
There's debate here. So therefore it's a good poll.
But I don't think it's a. Oh. I'll say, do you think it, and then can they enforce it?
No.
Yeah, we can do two different polls. Do you think it's physically possible, and then do you think they can actually?
Okay.
I don't care that I spelled that wrong. You get what I mean, right?
Sure.
Never mind, I'll do it. All right. You got your Audacity up, Bob?
Oh no, I forgot about that.
I know I'm not making it easy for you anymore, am I? But it was double as hard for me, so I'm kind of glad.
Why is my computer like wanting to take off? Oh, there's nothing. Man.
I have like 800 tabs open, so.
All right, let me see here.
Hello, hello,
test,
I'm testing.
test.
Hello, I'm testing. Hi. Oh, wow, that's coming.
You
Why-
can't test when I test. Testing.
Testing the microphone. Why is it coming through my right speaker so loud and not my left? This is weird. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. This is weird. What is going on here?
Testing my audio level. Looks like
Hello.
it's pretty good.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, how are you? Why is it doing that? This is weird. Hello.
What's your problem?
It's like recording strongly to my right side of my microphone, and my microphone's centered. Hello, everyone. This has never happened before. Like, this is really weird. Hello, everyone. It's like just coming through my right speaker. What is going on here? Testing the audio. This is weird. This is really strange. Is it on the right setting? Hi. Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Okay. Let's move that up there a little bit. All right, you ready? Yes. Yes, Bob.
I knew it was coming.
All right, guys. Every week, you guys know we start off, and I always forget the date, and Bob just saved that first take. Are you ready? I might start off with a thing. I might not go, hello, I'm James Barr. I might go, imagine not being able to scream on a roller coaster. Or not being able, like not being allowed to. And then I'll be like, that's what starts off this week's show. I'm James Barber, and this is Bob Mertz. And then you're listening to Kosher Talk. Something like that. Just to change it up a little bit.
I'll say, and I'm Neo, and the agents have me. My mouth is gone.
You don't need to say that. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Imagine not being allowed to scream on a roller coaster. That's what starts off this week's show. My name is James Barber.
And I'm Bob Mertz.
And we're your hosts. This is Coaster Talk Podcast, episode number 75. It is May 31st, 2020. And Bob, you heard me correctly. Japan theme parks, actually the East and West Japan Theme Park Association, consists of many major Japanese theme parks, including Tokyo Disney, Disney Sea, Universal Studios Japan, and they are all proposing the idea of banning screaming, shouting, and cheering in the parks, and especially on roller coasters.
I feel like there's some kind of a joke here about Neo being captured by the agents and his mouth seals over and disappears and yeah, I don't know about this one.
Yeah,
this is there's some interesting things that have come out, but yeah, I mean, I get the logic, but holy crap. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how you enforce this.
That's a question. And also, like, I knew something like this along the lines would happen. with the parks coming back and social distancing and all that. I knew something strange, some sort of policy. I did not think it would be this strict. I knew there'd be to do some, extra stuff to make sure that there's nothing. But this just seems like almost absurd level of requirements that you're asking the park guests. That's pretty much saying like, don't have fun on this ride. Don't show excitement. Don't, you just sit there. You have your mouth closed. Don't cheer. Don't do anything. You can't do it.
And besides that, I mean, well, okay, shouting and cheering, maybe. I mean, it's stupid, but screaming on a roller coaster? What? What? Just what?
You
can't scream on a roller coaster?
I know enthusiasts that's going to be a tough thing for. I cannot imagine asking the general public, people that actually have fears of these things.
Well,
that's just it's.
I mean, personally, I think it's not for everyone. Just kind of, it's one of those utterances. It just happens. There's a lot of people that don't even think about it. They just scream. It's like, holy crap, I'm gonna die. I mean, that's the whole purpose of riding a roller coaster, is to make your body feel like you're going to die.
Yeah, it's about being a thrill seeker. It's about being a thrill seeker. It's about being an adrenaline junkie. That's the name of the people that love these things. And to say don't scream, don't shout, don't cheer, any of that. It's just, it almost defeats the point of going to the parks. Like that's part of the deal that you get is when you go to these parks, you're going to be, with a lot of the general public in mind here, you're going to get scared out of your mind. You're going to do these crazy attractions that, do multiple inversions and do these awesome airtime moments and things that people like, for us, it's different. This is a life habit. This is a thing we do consistently.
Right.
But for like general public people, this is something that they don't do. And so this is something that, that scares them, plain and simply. And to say like, hey, you're pretty much saying, don't be scared.
I don't. But like the other thing is like, forget about the pure insanity of this. How do you even know? Oh, I heard somebody scream coming from the lift hill. Like,
yeah,
it was the person in the fourth seat left side. No, you don't know that. Like, how do you? What?
Maybe they have like cameras on the ride vehicle monitoring. Hey, don't you do it? Don't you scream? We'll stop this ride right now on the lift hill. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do it. And like, what is the punishment? Do you screamed on the ride? Sorry, you're kicked out, man. You can't come back. You're done. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't
get it. But
I don't understand it.
I'm sure we'll see some sort of details released if that is going to become an actual thing. We were talking about Holiday World considering face masks, and we're going to talk about that later as well. But Holiday World considering face masks, this article, we thought that was pretty crazy. But this is like the cuckoo's nest is not even, that's not even a relevant term for this. This is it's just mind-boggling to even think about.
Yeah, this is so this is one of those things that you would imagine somebody in a suit goes, "Hey, this is easy. Just tell everybody not to scream."
Yeah, it's just like
somebody that never rides roller coasters, doesn't go to parks. Like,
don't scream
on paper, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
It does. It prevents the water droplets from spreading. It makes sense logically.
And if you're saying scream or cheering, can you talk? If you're just going, yeah, woo, yeah, like that's not like, yay, this is awesome. Like, can you do that? What is to say? What defines a scream or a shout or a cheer? Because talking, you can still spurt water driplets out of your mouth. Like, I'm talking right now, and there's possibility of water and spit, saliva.
Of course, there's also coughing and sneezing. Like, you can't just say you're not allowed to sneeze or you're not allowed to cough
in the middle of an inversion, and you're just like,
it's an autonomic reaction. Right. Yeah. All of a sudden somebody's head explodes. Yes, like, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, well, this is strange. This is strange. Know. But I guess one way to enforce this would be a approach that Gatorland is taking, and you just get a skunk. You get a skunk cape on the rides maybe, and you enforce this
Yeah.
absurd policy. So Gatorland Park in Florida is considering, or they're doing actually, is they're having like a mascot called the Skunk Ape, social distancing Skunk Ape, and he's gonna walk around and he's gonna, I assume, I don't know if he's gonna be able to physically, yeah, I mean the video they showed it was like he was pushing you apart. That was
He
obviously
threw
for,
him into
yeah, that was
threw
for
him into-
that was for like a theatrical effect, but I don't know if he's
Yeah.
actually going to be able to come up to you and go, hey, like, and kind of push you apart and be like, hey, social distance or what. But they're having a man in a mascot costume walk around and spread the word to social distance and to, I believe it was also like hand sanitize your hands and keep clean, like that.
Yeah. I highly recommend that you go on YouTube and search for Gatorland Skunk Ape because
Yeah.
the video is pretty great.
Or actually,
he
I'll have
throws
it. I'll have it in the
throws
show
them
notes as well.
bushes and
So.
yeah, the he throws them into the bushes and the guy is like, oh, I feel so much safer now. It's a great video. You should definitely check it out. But yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like this idea. I mean, enforcement is critical, and if you can actually do it in a fun and themed way, I mean, that's spectacular. I mean, I love it. I think this is a great idea.
I think it's a good idea. I just think it might be one of the weirdest and unusual things I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, it's kind of an unusual park.
It is, yeah. So I mean, it's not
So,
even really
I
a
mean, it
park. I
kinda
mean, it's really
fits.
just a tourist
I mean,
trap. So,
yeah.
So I mean,
But-
this would be a good thing for like Disney to do. And like, let's say Mickey Mouse. I know there was a lot of discussion about characters meeting characters. You can't hug them and all that anymore. But let's have Mickey walk around and be a social distancing helper, and maybe he could walk around and in a sense be telling people, hey, like you can technically see Mickey, you can kind of walk up to him, but you can't, obviously touch him. But he's going to be there walking around, spreading people out. I mean, I don't know. That's just a thought. I mean, if Gatorland can do it, I don't see why Disney wouldn't be able to either. But I mean, it's definitely not a bad idea. I just think
It's just their theme.
it's just a strange video. Yeah, go watch that. I'll have it in the show notes of the podcast, and also you can just look it up on YouTube if you want. But that was it was interesting to say the least. But yeah, like you said, it's a fun and it's a good way to promote this type of regulations and rules instead of making it all black and white. You must do this. Do not you must social distance. It is a very like, hey, let's have fun and social distance. So it's making the best out of a bad
Yeah,
situation.
it's better than regard walking around yelling at people.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in lieu of having a mascot do it, definitely, please. I hope the parks have that and they enforce this like that. I think that's the key. It has to happen.
Mhm.
But this would allow them to do it in such a fun way, and I think it'd be less. I mean, there's going to be people that are just going to be frustrated by the whole fact that they have to social distance, and I think that something like this could kind of ease that tension maybe a little bit because it's kind of a funny like they're kind of making it a funny thing.
It's almost a
a little
joke.
bit.
It's almost like a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, so you
It
kind of
really is.
like smooth over the
Mhm.
seriousness of it with a joke to actually help with it. I really like the idea, and I hope other parks can come up with ways of doing things like this to fit into their theme. Obviously, skunk apes don't really work in most amusement parks, but
But I mean, like I said, Mickey Mouse could be a
Yeah.
social distancing guy. He could be a helper out, in that aspect. I don't know. So Tony Clark is back to teasing the Coaster Boys. The past week or so, he's taken a photo of this envelope, and he's slowly taking this piece of paper out of the envelope, right? And what we're seeing now is what we can confirm is Millennium Force trains. It is the regular Millennium
I
Force
don't know,
trains.
we can 100% confirm it, but it is very.
It's very apparent that it. I mean,
They really look like a Millennium Force trains.
yeah, very, very. I mean, I could say, I think 99% confidence, and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. But that's what I'm definitely seeing there.
I mean, yeah, I think it is the logical. I think there's something going on with Millennium Force. I think that's definitely logical. But I mean, it could be something really crazy. Is like they're changing the trains on Ruggaroo again. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
what we see are definitely trains that appear to be Millennium Forces trains, but hey, if you want to put something similar to Millennium Forces trains on Ruggaroo, I'm all for that because I might actually like the ride then.
And I already like it, so I don't have a problem there with that. But the big rumors that are being tossed around are, or at least the ones that I've seen being discussed on different forums and different um, social media pages, is that this could be maybe putting either B&M trains on this ride, which
Yeah.
I
I love
don't know
the
how I
fact
feel.
that I posted that as a joke and then all of a sudden people started running with it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know. But in the back of my mind, is it really crazy?
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
it's definitely possible. I don't know
I
how.
mean, if you look at Still Dragon 2000,
Yeah,
I mean that's what it's running B&M trains. It's a plausible thing.
it would be very strange.
Maybe
Strange decision, I
maybe they're
think.
getting tired of the cable lift and they're going to put a chain lift on it
I don't
and
know.
B&M trains and I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
It's interesting.
Also, I've heard that they might putting a backwards row on Millennium Force, similar to DC Rivals. But the thing with that is, I've heard a capacity nightmare kind of thing. It creates a lot of congestion in the
Yeah,
station and
because
stuff
people
like
want to
that.
ride the back seats.
But I also have heard that they might make it like an upcharge. Maybe, I mean, this is all theoretically speaking,
Yeah, it's
but
all speculation.
so nothing we're saying here is with 100% certainty. But I've heard that maybe they do something like,
I
I don't know,
still
an
like the
upcharge.
joke that they're going to enclose it and revive disaster transport.
that
I
is
love it.
that is a good one. Yeah, I've also heard that
Millennium Transport Alaska is riding on it. I love it. I love it.
imagine just a huge 300-foot building around it. That would be
Oh
great.
my god. Could you imagine the logistics of actually enclosing that ride?
That'd be
That would be
crazy.
such a feat.
Oh man, it would be it would be very interesting to see them do. But then one of the other ones, and one that I think might be, other than the B&M trains, I think might be the most logically sound one and most credible one, would be that they are taking off the wheels and maybe illuminating the wheels with some lighting, like lighting things that go on the wheels and make them light
I
up,
would love to see KCL Lighting do
or
some work
KLC
on Millennium
lighting,
Force.
or KLC
Oh
lighting
my
package.
god.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. Like that
Well,
that
it
would
already
be
looks.
awesome.
They already
Millennium
have
Force
that
could
light that like
really use it.
shines up on it. I mean, when you go to Cedar Point, they always have that like light that like like floodlight that
Yeah,
shines up on
but
it.
could you imagine what KCL could do with that?
Yeah,
Oh my
I know.
god.
I'm
KCL
saying that it already looks great
wow.
with that floodlight. I can imagine it with like an actually,
I know. Oh
professional
man.
roller coaster KCL lighting treatment. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be anything groundbreaking. I
Yeah,
think this is just going to be a minor little thing, maybe new trains.
maybe a new lighting package. I think that's pretty.
Yeah, lighting package is possible. But yeah, I really don't
Or it
think this
could
is going to be
be
anything
quite
major.
simply Tony Clark teasing us for no apparent reason and just doing it because he can.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, he's known
I
for that.
mean,
He's known
yeah.
for that kind of stuff. So I would not put that past him. I would not get your hopes up too high. If there's any Cedar Point fanboys out there, I would not be, banking on this being anything spectacular. But it really could very well be literally nothing. But I mean, you never know.
Somebody else. There was some other talk before we saw the Millennium Force trains. There was some people talking about possibly getting the oh, I forget who makes the trains, but there's somebody that made a floorless train for the Aero suspended coasters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they were suggesting that maybe they would be getting new trains for Iron Dragon that are actually floorless.
That would be pretty cool.
Which I would love to see.
I'm not a huge fan.
I would like to see that.
Not a huge fan of Iron Dragon, but I mean, any upgrade is pretty nice.
Although personally, I think I've said this before, but what Cedar Point needs to do most of all is Cedar Creek need to be down to a 42-inch height requirement.
Wouldn't that be the
rides very
greatest
relevant.
troll ever? He's showing us Millennium Force trains, and then he's like, and the news is Cedar Creek mine train, the height requirement's going down. Yay!
Well, actually, you know what? My nephew is most likely hitting 48 inches this year, so that's more than likely what it is.
Yeah,
just because I no longer
need
care.
it. Just yeah, as long now you don't care about the height requirements, and they're gonna do it. What if they actually were like, yeah, we were listening to Kosher Talk podcast and we heard Bob talking about it and we're like, we should bring the
Yeah.
height requirements down for his nephew, and you're like, what? Is this a joke? Oh my gosh!
Honestly, though,
great.
there's lots of other kids out there, and that's a big hole for Cedar Point. I mean, it's if you're between 42 and 48 inches,
And
Cedar Point's kind of a boring park.
that might be the most forceless mine train ever. So I don't understand why
I
the height
know,
requirement
and
would
that's
be so high.
every mine train outside of Cedar Fair is 42 inches, and every arrow suspended outside of Cedar Fair is 42 inches, and those are the mildest versions of
Yeah, they're both
their respective models.
exactly.
Like, there are times where like you just take your backpack on Iron Dragon with you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
my
have.
backpack's okay, but my child isn't. What? I don't.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's strange. But it seems as though each week more and more parks announce reopenings, and we have some more this week as well. As
Yeah.
all the Florida parks really, and also one addition, in addition to that, it is announced a reopening for June. Actually, all of them for June except for Disney, which is July 11th. So Disney World
I
has
called
announced.
it.
Yep, Disney World's announced a July 11th opening date. Bob was correct in the aspect of saying that Disney would wait till July and hold off for June, which I don't know if there's an actual reasoning for that, or if they just I don't know if they've announced like that they feel it's the safest means necessary or what.
I think they're just making sure they have things ready to go.
I mean, because it was strange because I mean Universal Orlando also announced their opening date, and that's June 5th. That is a month in advance. I know you could say Disney has a little bit more parks and stuff, but I mean it's still around the same size, resorts. So
Yeah, but I think the thing is Disney has such a focus on being seamless. Like if you go, I mean, especially like Cedar Fair, Six Flags parks, even Universal to an extent. If things don't go off without a hitch, it's not that detrimental. It's not like you don't expect a whole thing to them,
aspect.
and I think that's why they're like we want to make sure we give ourselves time and make sure we're ready to.
And of course, I believe
I would bet you that there's actually people that have been invited to go to the parks, even like the end of June, as kind of a private event, sort of,
yeah,
but just for the sole purpose of testing.
They might have
maybe like
media people going, stuff like that. Yeah.
Family members, cast members, families.
Oh,
They're coming to the park on a couple days, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to test it out with them. And, I would see Disney doing something like that.
Yeah, that's very likely. They're going to require masks and temperature checks. They're going to have social distancing barriers, new hand washing stations, and things like that as well. They're going to have some new mobile food ordering options. They're going to have plexiglass barriers at food and shopping locations, and they don't want people paying in cash. So that's all beginning June 11th, or July 11th, excuse me. Beginning June 5th, though, Universal Orlando will open. All three parks will reopen. So Florida, Islands of Adventure, and their water park, Volcano Bay, which is going to be interesting to see how they can, deal with that. This is as well as far as I'm concerned. I think this is the first water park that's opened, or to my knowledge.
No, actually, Schlitterbahn is opening. I don't know what the date is, but they're opening fairly soon too.
Are they opening before Volcano Bay?
Around that time, I think. I don't know. I don't know exactly the date, but I did read that it's actually coming pretty soon. Probably around that. Maybe not. They might. I mean, Volcano Bay might still be the first. I'm not completely sure of that. But this is the thing with water parks. Everybody kind of thinks of water parks as, oh, it's going to be like this different thing, and I really don't think that. I mean,
I mean, and
The water's
theoretically,
chlorinated.
chlorine, I mean, kills the disease. So I mean,
Yeah.
it is safer in that aspect. But a lot of things that I've heard have actually been that it's not so much being in the water, but like when you're sitting out, on the pavement, drying off, or sitting in the beach chairs, things like that. That's where it's going to become kind of risky and dangerous. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to deal with all that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that like the aspects of that are the same as any amusement park at all. I don't think there's any. I mean, people are kind of looking at water parks as this whole different dynamic, and really, from what I see, I don't think it's really that much of a different dynamic.
With water parks, though, I mean, water parks are about relaxing and sitting down at that, like I said, sitting in the beach chairs, sitting on, if they have like a pavement area or
Oh,
like a fake beach. So it's a lot more about laying down and just staying in one space. With theme parks, you're constantly moving, so you can stay away from people and kind of walk around and stay away, 6 feet apart, go away. But like if you're laying down, and then what happens if there's enough people in this one area, and you want it, but you want to relax right there. I mean, how are they going to deal with that?
well,
What if
I think that's where it would kick in with reduced capacity. You would just
yes, yes, but I
limit
mean,
how many people are allowed in that area at one time.
but I know, like, I'm just imagining Kings Dominion or Busch Gardens or Water Country USA, excuse me, or one of the water parks I've gone to. I know they have that big wave pool, and there are like
Yeah.
millions of seats out there. I know they're definitely going to have those socially distanced.
Yeah.
I've been to actually a doctor's office, and they had the seats all spread apart like that as well. Like every single individual seat was 6 feet apart. But how are they
I
going
will say
to?
you're right. I wasn't really thinking much about like the wave pool thing. I was thinking more of like water slides and stuff like that. But yes, yeah, you're right. While there's people in pools and they're like the wave pool and they're getting bumped around, I
Yeah,
can see a little more.
that's
I
what
can
that.
see
Yeah,
that.
that's where my area of concern is. I definitely think
But
water
that
slides.
makes me wonder, would they actually open the water park but close the wave pool?
Maybe that's something they do. Maybe
I mean,
that's
nobody
what
has
I'm.
actually said like, you know, this is what's open, this is what's closed.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you're right. I honestly had not thought about like in the wave pool.
Hmm.
That is one aspect that would be a little bit different, I think.
I mean, especially with the wave pool. I mean, those waves throw you around. I mean, you're always. I mean, that's the point
Yeah.
of the wave pool.
Yeah.
So unless they have a very thought out process of how they're going to like make sure everyone stays distant in the pool, I don't know how they'd be able to do that. That's what I was thinking. And then again, when you're relaxing on that beach area in front of the wave pool, I don't know how they'd keep people from not overcrowding one certain area or anything like that. I don't know, but that's for them to announce. I'm sure they're going to talk about that
Yeah.
as things come, because I'm sure obviously if we thought about it, they've thought about it.
Oh yeah.
um,
I hope so.
hopefully, that'd be funny if
Yes.
someone at Universal's listening to this right now, and they're like, "Oh shoot, oh wait a second, did we? Gotta double check that." But yeah, they're opening up Universal Orlando, their water park Islands of Adventure, all opening up. SeaWorld Orlando also announcing that they're opening June 11th. June 11th, SeaWorld Orlando will reopen. And we talked about that last week with how they were wearing the masks on Mako and things like that. So they've obviously been preparing for this. I'm sure it'll be similar to that. You'll be required to wear face masks. There'll be temperature screening, socially distant, things like that. But yeah, it is. They will have character meet and greets. Though. I'm reading that right now, actually. So they're going
Yeah.
to be conducted at a
Disney will not,
safe
though.
distance. A safe distance. Enhanced sanitizer will be provided when entering and exiting that character meet and greet. So unlike Disney and Universal, who said like no character meet and greets, SeaWorld is going to say yes. Which I don't even know what characters do we meet at SeaWorld. Are you aware of that? I don't know. I don't go to Busch Gardens ever and take pictures with.
Sesame Street.
Yeah, yeah. Do they? I guess they do have those at the SeaWorld parks. I just
I
went
would
to SeaWorld.
imagine.
I just went to SeaWorld San Antonio and they had that. So, but I didn't remember. Yeah, yeah.
Last SeaWorld I was at was actually SeaWorld Ohio. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while, man. It's been quite a while.
It's been a few minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yes. So all other SeaWorld parks remain closed though. So San Diego, California, San Antonio, and Texas will all be closed, as well as Busch Gardens Williamsburg and the Sesame Place. Busch Gardens Tampa has also announced that they're opening as well, though. So both Florida SeaWorld parks, they're opening. We don't know an official date for Busch Gardens that I could find, but on their website it has the day of June 5th as the first operational day. So I would assume that's what they're targeting for. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be June 11th
So
as well or what.
as of now, they've been approved by the local government, and it's being sent to the governor of Florida to actually be approved. So they don't Bush Tampa doesn't have 100% approval yet, but I think that's just a matter of technicalities. I think it'll happen.
Oh yeah, and I don't think SeaWorld. I don't think were they confirmed actually. Wednesday morning, I heard that they were going to go to the governor's office and like present this to him, but I don't know if they've been actually so like the stamp has been put on the papers
Well,
yet.
I don't know.
Okay, well that's what they're targeting for, and like we've said multiple times on this podcast, when it goes to the governor, at that point it's pretty much like a technicality, or it's pretty much gonna happen. The local government's not going to approve it, and then the governor go, no, I don't think so. I mean, that's very unlikely in this situation. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. And then also the first like non-Florida park that we're talking about right now is Frontier City, and this is the first Six Flags park also to open up, and it's happening. I mean, next week. I mean, that's how quick this is happening, Bob. It's crazy.
And James, if you want to go there for opening day, it's too late.
Yeah, if you're listening to this right now, you are well behind trying to sign up for that. I think the first week or two are fully booked. So
there's the first. I think it was the first few days. The first week was completely booked. They have a wait list. The second week, I think there were like 2 days that still had some spaces available, but they were limited.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, people are crazy to get back to the parks. So I think this is what we're going to see at a lot of parks. I mean, and also speaking.
This is the thing, though, and this is the thing that I don't know what to expect. Yeah, they're booked, but how many of those are actual bookings? Now, Six Flags does have, I don't know what the exact policy is, but there are going to be ramifications if you reserve a spot and you don't go. Mm-hmm. Which is mostly likely just going to be like next time you try to get in line for one, you're going to be given a lower priority. But right out of the gate here, I guarantee you there's a lot of people thinking, oh, I might go, just in case I'm going to get a spot. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much of that is, people like, oh, well, let's just in case. Let's. And
also, we don't know what their capacity is, so this could very well not be that many people, and it just seems like could just be all the enthusiasts in Texas going to this park, So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. We'll be updating you on this next week when all this happens. It's crazy, Bob. Next week, these parks will be opening up. It is just it is.
It's kind of this the one thing that really is kind of bugging me with Six Flags system is that you can be on multiple waiting lists at a single time, and it doesn't specify that there's any kind of limit. So it's almost as if like you could go and for 2 weeks straight for 14 different days you can be on the waiting list, and you can actually go for like, I would like to see there be, and maybe there is that we're not aware of, but I would like to see there be some priority, like if you've been there, you kind of get a lower priority for the next one. That way everybody gets a chance instead of, somebody just hogging the park to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, could you go for, 2 weeks straight? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. It makes me wonder.
And I'm curious, does anyone know, I know they've announced this and I remember reading about it, but I can't fully remember. Do season pass holders just get to go, or do they also have to make a reservation, right?
I believe they also have to make a reservation.
I know there was one, I think
higher priority.
Okay, they had higher priority. Holiday World, I believe, is a park that is building in space for season pass holders pre-reservation, so they don't have to make a reservation. They can just go, and they've already built in some capacity for the season pass holders.
And I think Holiday World's kind of a little bit of a different scenario because they generally have a smaller capacity, like on a daily basis. I think.
I don't know. Smaller than Frontier City though. Frontier City is a pretty small park as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, why they couldn't do that, or if parks around us would do that as well. I don't know. We'll have to see when like Cedar Fair and when the Busch Parks reopen, what they're gonna do, or
I
not the
think,
Busch Parks, but Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, near us. But
yeah, I think we're going to see different attitudes in different parts of the country too.
hmm
I know, like, I have a cousin that lives in Texas, and I know like it seems to be the attitude in Texas is everybody is like, just let me go places. We don't care like that. The general consensus is like, we're done. We're over this. While other parts of the country, the consensus is different. The consensus is more about safety, more concern. So we might see like, you know, basically what I'm saying is just because this park is like filling up really quick, that doesn't necessarily mean like when Virginia parks open up, it's going to be the same thing. It may be. It's hard to say, but
yeah.
I think we're going to see a very regional thing.
That's definite. Well, if you want to get to a theme park, you got to go to Florida. You got to go to Idaho. You got to go to some far out places for us at least. Many of you, maybe some of the listeners might be more better located, but we got to do some traveling at least for us. But we're going to talk about a park that has not yet reopened when we get back from this break. We're going to talk about Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania, a great little park. One of the most underrated parks, I think, in the chain of Cedar Fair, at least, to say for sure. We'll discuss that when we get back from this break. All right, we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to...
Oh, wait, hold on.
I'm just kidding.
I heard you click. That was your stopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I was just joking around.
Hold on, I want to save audio just in case something would happen. Let me take a drink too.
I'm gonna go to refill water. I'll be right back. All right.
You do it.
We'll continue.
All righty. How's everybody quiet tonight in the live chat? Say hi or something.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Hey, Clint. Hey, Evan. There are people still alive.
Where were you guys when we needed a weekly poll?
Yeah. You had to wait for us to get into an argument.
Yeah, I love it.
What do you guys think Millennium is happening with Millennium Force, or do you think it's Millennium Force? You think it's Iron Dragon or something else? I'm kind of curious.
B&M Surfrider.
I don't know. Like those trains that are on Still Dragon actually look kind of cool. So I might not be too upset with those. Oh, you haven't been listening. Oh yeah, I guess you were out riding. Yeah, Tony's teasing something, and it seems like it involves Millennium Force. Um, I don't know, man. Those B&M trains on Still Dragon 2000, those would be cool, but I don't think that's not what those trains look like. Well, actually, now I just looked at it, dude.
I think they are.
Dude, that is not that different.
What do you mean?
So here's a picture of Still Dragon. Still Dragon.
Oh yeah. I know what they
But
look like.
if you compare that to, I want to paste. What the hell? Here we go. Well, if they're getting new restraints, they're getting new trains. They're not. It's not really possible to just get new restraints. I mean, I guess you could change like the shape of the bar or something, but I really wouldn't call that a new restraint. But if you look at that, that doesn't look.
It definitely resembles.
My God, seriously, I said this as a joke, and now I'm starting to really believe it.
All right, you ready?
Sure, why not? Let me know when you're ready. Well, you want me to start audio?
All right, everyone. I'm just kidding.
Wait.
Hello.
Dang you!
That's gonna be my new thing.
Bowl. It is relevant. I won.
Thank you.
I won.
Thank you, Evan.
Right, the debate's over. I won.
Thank you. Debate over. Yes, thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it. I convinced pretty much everyone when we were playing mini golf that peanuts was irrelevant. So when we were at Go Karts Plus the other day, I got Timmy to agree with me. I got Pam to kind of understand where I was coming from. I feel like I succeeded. You didn't really win. I mean, it's not like you're like the sole proprietor of the like, just like if I wouldn't have said I won, I would have just said that it's not relevant.
Yes, you would have. You most certainly would have.
It wasn't like the debate actually happened that episode. So I mean, like they were voting on something that hadn't happened yet. I would be interested to see what we'd get this week, though. I would. Yes, that's 2. We're ganging up on you, Bob.
Yeah,
I love
whatever.
it. Love it. All right. Well, let's talk about Dorney Park, who does have some Peanuts characters.
There's a candidate for a B&M train.
Duwadi Majidi.
Still Force.
Oh yeah, I like the Morgan.
Yeah, I like the Morgan trains too, but these B&M trains are awesome.
All right, you ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
A park that dates all the way back to 1860 is what we're talking about today. Dorney Park and Allen Mound.
Awesome. Allen.
Allen Mound, Pennsylvania. All right, you ready?
Oh, should I delete that or just pick up?
Delete it, please. Whew. Ready?
No, hold on. I'm an old guy now. Takes me time. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're killing me. You're killing me, Bob.
What? Why do I got to do this now? Why am I killing you?
I didn't think you were ready yet.
I said I'm ready.
I know, right when I was starting to write something.
Oh, whatever.
All right. 3, 2, 1. A park that dates all the way back to 1860 is the park we're discussing today. This is Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Originally built as a fish hatchery with the initial purpose of giving of purveying fish to markets across the country and providing local anglers and trout gourmets with a readily supply of their favorite dish. Dorney Park was born by Solomon Dorney. It would later become a trolley park and then would eventually get more attractions and would just develop over time to become a great theme park that we know now. One of the oldest attractions there, Thunderhawk, opened in 1923, actually. It has changed names as it originally was called the Coaster, I believe. But it is still there to this day, and it's a historic ride. And I've had the chance of riding. It's a pretty good ride, and it's awesome that they've preserved it for this long. It really is such a historical park, though, and that's the one thing I have heard a common complaint along. So let's get into that. Was kind of the overview of the history. I didn't think we need to get too deep into that. I mean, it just developed over time, pretty much. It was a fish hatchery, then it was a trolley park. Now it's an amusement park, right? That's the gist of it.
I mean, it's in Pennsylvania. Of course, it was a trolley park.
Yeah, of course, exactly. Of course, it would be stranger if it wasn't. And so yeah, Thunderhawk was a great ride. But what I've heard common complaints among many that have been going to Dorney Park for a long time is that what's actually happened. I still quite enjoy Dorney. I think it's a great park, but that is someone that's an outsider that hasn't been going since I was a child,
Right.
and things like that. I've heard that it has kind of lost that historical charm that it once had, and that it's kind of been reduced to, just a typical American theme park. It doesn't feel like a historical landmark or anything like that, which I can understand. I definitely, when I was there, did not feel like this was Kennywood or, one of those parks where you go in and you're like, wow, this is an old park. Thunderhawk did feel old. You could tell like the queue and the ride building they have up and the signage and all that. It resembles that of an older wooden roller coaster. So that did put off some historical references and things like that. It made you feel somewhat, in a historical site. But the rest of the park really did feel like a typical 1980, 1990 theme park. Like it just, there was no charm there really.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of, if you look at it from the perspective of, hey, this is a historical park, and you look for the history, I think you could start to see where it is in some of the buildings. But if you're just walking into Dorney Park and you don't know anything about the history, it doesn't really hit you as like this is something different. Where Kennywood, you kind of have that feel that's still there. I think Kennywood has definitely lost a lot of theirs as well, but they still
have many areas where that happens.
Yeah. Dorney's kind of been a little bit modernized to the point of maybe losing some of the history. But that doesn't mean it's not a great park.
Oh no, no.
And they do have some older rides. They actually have a whip, which is an older ride. They have Apollo, which is I think it's a swing around, but it might be a generic swing around. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that's an older ride.
They have an Enterprise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do have an Enterprise.
They have a Demon Drop, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's probably one of the very few remaining first gen drop tires.
I know there's one in like Japan or something, but yeah, in the U.S. that's one of the only.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they do have some definitely historically significant rides, but I mean I can understand where people that have been going there for a long time could be upset with the charm it's lost in a sense. But they do have some great roller coasters. They have some great attractions there. They have Steel Force, which is a Morgan hypercoaster that is critically acclaimed ride. Some really good airtime there.
Actually, I like Steel Force.
I love
A
it. Yeah,
good bit, actually.
it's a very good ride. They have Talon, I think one of the better B&M inverts. It's a lot of fun. Very good invert there.
It's top two for me.
And it's not not top two for me, but it's a good one. They have Possessed, the Intimate Impulse coaster, which is fun. I like that a lot. They have Hydra, the Revenge, a great roller coaster. Really, those top four right there are, I mean, the best ride. I mean, you go off and you have Thunderhawk, and then you have their Wild Mouse and their Kiddie Coaster. But I think for such a small park and a park that's not recognized often, that is a fantastic top four, and I love to preach that when I talk about Dorney Park.
Oh, very much.
I mean, it is I'd say one of the best top fours. I mean, I would say top fours go. I'd say it's better top four than in King's Dominion or Busch Gardens. I mean, that is a fantastic top four. You have a really great Morgan Hypercoaster, a fantastic Intimate Impulse, a great B&M Floorless, and a great B&M Invert. I mean, you hit it out of the park with four rides there. I mean, yes, King's Dominion you can argue has a stronger top two, no doubt. But I mean, you look at the top four,
Yeah.
and you have an argument there for. I mean, I'd say Dorney being the better park there with that collection. It's fantastic. It really is kind of overlooked. Oftentimes, people don't consider it one of the better parks in terms of roller coasters, but it really is.
The feel of it, it's well, I shouldn't say never. It's rarely crowded, which is another nice thing. You can get there and have plenty of time to ride. I mean, a lot of times you might not even need I think most of the time you probably don't even need the whole day. We went on, it was Memorial Day weekend. I think it was 2 years ago. I don't remember exactly which day it was. I want to say it was Sunday. But we waited. Hydra was actually a walk-on, and Talon we had to wait for like 4 rides. And that's Memorial Day weekend.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So you don't, it's nice not to have to wait in lines. But yet it's like, it doesn't feel like the park's empty either.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. When I went,
It's kind of hard to explain it, but
I went. I believe it was, I think it was July or August, summer. I think it was a weekend, maybe it was a weekday. I don't remember. It was definitely summer though. So I mean, that's when the parks are normally completely packed. And Hydra was a walk on, Possessed was a walk on, Steel Force was a walk on, Talon was a walk on. I mean, everything was a walk on. But at the same time, there were a lot of people. The paths were lively. The water park was packed, but I mean, even the water park, the rides weren't too crowded. Like there wasn't lines and things like that for the water rides. But I mean, there was quite a considerable amount of people by the wave pool and things like that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It doesn't feel empty by any means, but at the same time, it doesn't feel overly crowded either, which is a good thing. I don't know if that's a normal thing. I've heard that's a kind of the norm for Dorney, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they'd be so successful, and it's strange because they're in such a population wise, they're in such a dense area. I mean, they're right near Philadelphia and New York, so it wouldn't make any sense for that. They would never get crowded. But I've heard that normally it is kind
they're
of.
also in the middle of a lot of other parks.
Yeah, but I mean, Hershey gets slammed. When we were at Knoebels was pretty packed sometimes. I mean, I don't know. It's just strange to me that.
Yeah, but those are all like, if you kind of think about it geographically, those are more on the edge, where Dorney's in the center of them. So it's like, if you're coming into the area, there's parks closer to you than Dorney. If you follow my logic there.
Yeah, I just don't see how that would take away from the clientele that much, that drastically, that there would never be anybody there, like there would never be any lines. But I mean, obviously, there's probably some days where there are. I'm sure there's obviously days when this park's packed.
Honestly, there's a lot of Dorney Park that there a lot of people are constantly saying, "Oh, Dorney just doesn't get any attention. Cedar Fair doesn't care. They don't do anything." I that kind of that bugs me because the one of the biggest reasons for that is, I mean, they have some big rides
Mm-hmm.
and fairly new. It's not like we're talking like a park that just has
Shivering
really really
Timbers.
old rides. Like
Shivering Timbers or
yeah,
something.
well, I mean, yeah, but Shivering Timbers makes Michigan's Adventure like
I
that
know, but that's what I'm
alone.
saying. But
But
that's
yeah,
that's an older attraction that they haven't seen anything since really.
well, yeah, that's true. But I don't care. Like, oh my god, I love Shivering Timbers. Anyway, off. Dorney. Dorney reminds me a lot of Geauga Lake, and there's there's definitely differences. I'm not going to say it's identical. It's far from identical, but there's some things about the feel of the park that kind of reminds me of Geauga Lake, and I kind of think that Cedar Fair looks at it as a perspective of we don't want a repeat of Geauga Lake. Let's not, you know, build this park too big.
Hmm.
And that's part of the thing that's awesome about Dorney is you can get on some really, really good rides, but still not have that massive park feeling.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of the things I liked about Geauga Lake is they had some really, really seriously fun rides, but you never felt like, oh, this is that overwhelming park. I've got to get to all it's a park that you can go ride those rides, but at the same time relax, take your time, not feel rushed. And there's not a lot of parks that can give you both of those things. So in a sense, I don't want to see Dorney get a lot of major attractions because I want it to kind of stay, you know, smaller and be really good at what it is. That being said, I'd love to see a Gravity Group shuttle
Yeah.
that, we might be seeing. And I think again, that's about, it's about time. This is just give Dorney a small attraction, one that's a notable attraction, but we're not talking like a hyper or like a giga coaster or anything like that. Dorney doesn't need that. I don't think it would do well at all.
Yeah, that's fair. And I get what you're saying, and that's what I kind of liked about Dorney as well. It kind of felt like a Kennywood or Knoebels or something like that, like a smaller park, but it also at the same time felt like a chain park. Like it had both vibes going to it. Both it really did have that appeal to it, which I really liked, and I think that's why I liked it so much. I actually preferred it to my home park of Kings Dominion, which I mean is highly rated. It's a very highly rated park. Kings Dominion is very enthusiasts come here and go, holy crap, I love this park. But I liked Dorney more just because I felt something there that I'd never really felt at a park before. It was an interesting experience. I really enjoyed my time at Dorney though, and I would highly recommend anyone that is on the edge or is gone. I'm gonna skip out on Dorney. You gotta give it a trip. It's worth it.
Yeah, at least give it a half day
Yeah,
at the
I mean,
very
I
least.
did it in a day. I would say a day is well worth it, but if you don't want to give it a full day, I would at least give it a half day, like yeah, like Bob's saying. So, Bob, are you ready to talk about somewhat of a controversial, apparently, poll this week?
Huh.
We got some conflicting answers, yeah, and this is
Interesting.
strange. I thought it would be more one sided, but it wasn't, and I guess that is how the world works. I mean, there's gonna be different answers, different things going on for different people. We asked the simple question first off, multiple choice question: are masks loose articles? And we got 20 replies for yes and 30 replies for no. So it was about 60-40 there, which was interesting because I mean that's pretty much that's getting to pretty much almost 50%, 50-50 kind of deal. I thought it would be a lot more one sided there with maybe a no, but I mean we did get quite a bit of no's, and we actually got some people responding to why they thought that, and I thought I would share that first. So someone said I'm indifferent to masks, especially in open spaces. So I don't. That's not really a response, but that's his opinion on masks. And as far as it goes, how he would feel going back to the parks with masks. Uh, Someone said, "Luckily, masks aren't hard," and this is a no response. So he said, "No, masks are loose articles." So he said, "Luckily, masks aren't hard. Mask or no mask, though, I hope to be there. Rules are going to be set by the park." He said, so he's going to follow the rules set by the park,
Yeah,
and
which
he
you
doesn't care.
better.
and, and then someone said, "Are face masks loose articles?" They said yes, and then the question that they responded to was, "Will you be among the first people to revisit the parks? Do mask requirements make you feel better about going to parks?" That was the other part of our weekly poll. And he responded, "Yes, I'll be going to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, and Six Flags Magic Mountain as soon as they open." So he's in California, obviously, and that's interesting. So he's going to be out as soon as they are reopen, which I think a lot of enthusiasts are going to do. I know some are on the edge of going, I'd rather be safe than ride coasters, but a majority I've seen are pretty, I want to ride coasters, I don't care what I have to do kind of thing, kind of mindset. We got quite a few responses of that other weekly poll part, though. So, again, 60, 40, 20 votes to 30 votes on the "Are masks loose articles?" But the other question, again, was, will you be among the first to revisit the parks, and why? And so then we got quite a few responses for that. And a couple of people actually responded to this. They responded to the mask question in this box as well. So some of this might go back to the mask question, and I'll point it back to that when we get there. And Bob, you can weigh in on these as well, obviously. I want to be among the first for many reasons, but I need it for my mental health. So that's why he wants to get back to the
Yeah.
parks, he's saying.
I can certainly see that.
That makes sense. I mean, it's definitely a stressful time right now, and that's an escape for us. That is enthusiasts love
Yeah.
roller coasters, but why we love them on a deeper and more psychological level is because they're an escape from the real world kind of thing. I think many of us that's the case. Someone went back to the mask question again and said, because it isn't loose, it is strapped to your face.
Right.
So yeah, that's where he's.
That's kind of the way. I mean, so and that's the thing. Are glasses loose articles? Yes. Are glasses with a strap loose articles? No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a mask is tied to your face, so that's where I see the differentiation. If it was like something you were holding in front of your face, then yes, that's a loose article. But
Mm-hmm.
if you can ride with glasses with a glasses strap, masks have a strap by default.
I'm still on the edges. I agree 100% with that, but I'm also, I mean, like, I don't think they should be not required, but I also don't think they should be, required. I just think if you want to wear a mask, you should be able to wear a mask. But it seems that at this point, it's either you're wearing it or you're not wearing it. So there's really no park I've seen that's had a stance that is like, you can wear them if you want. Every park seems to have some sort of policy, and Holiday Worlds is this weird one.
I think Holiday World's one of the few. I think Holiday World and even Fun Spot I think has even
No,
though
Fun
their
Spot you
owner
don't.
hates it.
Fun Spot is actually
You don't have to.
you don't have to wear them. Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of the ones you don't
So
have to.
so Holiday World and Fun Spot, I think those may be the only parks that it's not a requirement.
I don't know. I think Silverwood also, but that's opening up
M-
in a couple of
But
days.
even so, I mean, they're definitely in the minority.
Yeah, it's definitely not a large scale implementation of the rules there that you cannot wear a mask. But going back to the question of if you're going to be going back to the parks or not, someone said yes. I'm getting really bored of not riding anything. That's pretty much, I think everyone feels that way. Yes, because I want to get out of the house and hang out. And then someone said, actually, we got a no response. And that was no because people are paranoid and senseless. I don't want to be around them.
I that's I think that's my personally that's my biggest fear is other people. Um, I'm completely fine if everybody's going to follow the rules, but I'm really concerned that other people are just not going to care and have no respect for people around them, because there's tons of people in the parks anyway. Like every time I go to a park, there are those people, So I'm just kind of expecting them. And I think that's one of my biggest fears is the people that just don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. No, because I want to see if they can actually manage the social distancing procedures. So he wants to make sure that parks are actually capable of enforcing the rules that they're laying out before he heads out to the parks.
Yeah. And that's a big deal too. I mean, for me, that's a big deal. I it's one thing if it's an inconvenience of having to wait an extra ride before I get on because somebody jumped in the line. But, when you deal with infectious diseases, that's a little bit different. And I kind of really, it's kind of a big deal. Forget about the reasoning for the rules. If the
Mm-hmm.
rules are there, they need to be enforced.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, and you stated, we've both stated this throughout the couple weeks that the parks have been re-announcing their opening procedures and announcing their opening dates. This can't be a slap on the wrist kind of punishment, like, oh, next time social distance better, or next time,
Right.
like, I'm not a huge, like, I'm not going to be a freak and be like, oh my God, 6 feet apart, get away from me, kind of, like, I'm more relaxed in that sense. But if someone's being obsessive and is doing things, I mean, I know for a fact, a lot of times when you go to parks and the teenagers, ironically, I am a teenager, but I'm not one of those teenagers that breaks the rules purposely and almost in spite of there being rules and things like that. I do it just to mock with the security guard or whatever. I mean, once I was at King's Dominion, it was during CoasterCon, and I remember the security guard, we were talking, and he goes, "Hey guys, I gotta go real quick. Someone just jumped in the International Street fountain," and I'm like, "What?" I mean, like, how was that? Like, what? And like, it can't be. It can't be. I mean, there's gonna be people like that, and you can't be giving these people a slap on the wrist. You gotta get them if they're being not if they're not following the restrictions and the rules of the park have set in place. This cannot be a slap on the wrist kind of deal. You have to enforce it strongly and make it apparent that you are serious about this, because this is, like you said, serious. It's not a cutting a line. This isn't a, you stole some food from the store, something dumb like that. This is pretty serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, someone said, of course I trust in their policies, especially Cedar Fair, because they really need our support.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Parks absolutely need our support, and that's part of the reason why I think we should go if you don't have major concerns.
Mm-hmm.
But you should focus on those rules. That's the thing. And that's kind of what scares me with like parks that are kind of being indifferent. Is I'm afraid that a lot of people will avoid going. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I have a feeling, I think Holiday World has just a strong bond with its community that won't affect them. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
I mean, that is
And
that is
that's
like the only park in that area. I mean, Kentucky Kingdom's close, but I think that's far enough away that it's almost like a park that doesn't exist. It's one of those parks that people might not know about. So Santa Claus, Indiana, the people in that area, I think that might be like the go-to park. So I don't think it really matters what kind of rules they're putting in place. They just want to go, and especially Indiana, I've heard they're very, they're not very concerned with this. I've heard that they are being very kind of nonchalant about this and just going with
yeah.
whatever. So I don't know if.
But see, I think that's where parks are going to be an interesting dynamic because of the traveling issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
you're not just dealing. Yeah, okay. So Indiana may not have a big deal. They may not have a big issue, but now you're opening a park, and it's an attraction where people from more infected areas are going to be coming into.
Maybe though, maybe that's a very.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things that you're opening up.
I mean, but a lot of people aren't gonna. I mean, the enthusiasts obviously, but like majority of people are not traveling out of state to go to theme parks at this point. I know I will be as soon as I'm able, and I know you are. So, but I think they're
Yeah,
majority of people. It's going to be regionally coming into this
right.
park.
And you're definitely right on that. But at the same time, it's still one of those things that has to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's one of those things. People in Indiana may not be concerned, but even just people a couple hours away might be more concerned than what Indiana is, and I don't know. I mean, there's different views. There's views on each side.
Mm-hmm.
I just still can't get over Holiday World's not like, oh, it's a loose article thing. That just
Well, you're not alone because someone said they go around your ears and they're tight. There's no way they're getting off.
Yeah.
And that was one of the
Well,
responses.
and some even tie around your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then back to the other question of, will you be going back to the parks as soon as you can? Yes, we cannot live our lives in fear. When you give up your liberties for security, you can have neither. So I was a little more political, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's fair.
I mean, it's fair.
Mm-hmm. Someone said yes, though I will not travel far to do so. It's selfish to drive far out of state for something like coasters right now. I don't know if it's selfish really to do that. I don't know how I would be selfish, but
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where for me personally, I think it's dependent on where you're like for instance, for me driving to Indiana to Holiday World, I'm going to a less infected area, and I mean, it could be selfish to say, oh, oh no, I don't have the virus, but accidentally I do because I'm asymptomatic.
yeah.
But I think the bigger concern is more of it affecting people around you, people in your family. If you're in Indiana and you drive to New York, where you have a very, very high chance of catching the virus and then driving back to Indiana, I think that's probably more of a selfish thing than the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I definitely could see it both ways. I could see where you're coming from.
I don't really know if I would consider it selfish, but I mean, if states are reopening,
Selfish may be a strong word
and if
for
states
it,
are reopening and allowing travel, then I mean, you're not doing anything wrong. So, I mean, I just don't. I don't think that's. I don't think that's a good word for it. Selfish, and I think that's a little bit too harsh and a little bit too, you know.
yeah, it may be. Like I said, it may be a little bit too strong of a word.
Poor choice of words. Yeah.
But I get the concept behind it, and I think the logic makes sense. I understand where you're coming from.
Someone said yes because I'm going to be working hurler, drop tower, and Carolina Cyclone at Carowinds. So they're definitely going back to the park because they'll be working there. Someone said
right, well then,
mm-hmm.
Does that mean that they're actually hiring? So Carowinds will be up?
Yeah, maybe.
Or is it just they're expecting to apply whenever they're hiring?
No, I think they are actually applying.
I know Pennsylvania parks are constantly posting about applying now.
Yeah, and actually, to give an update on Hershey Park, I have a friend who I have not asked if I could share his name, so I'm not going to, but he actually wrote me and told me that training appointment for June 5th at Hershey Park got canceled. So it looks like July is going to be the opening for Hershey. They were hoping, Hershey was really pushing for a early June opening, but I think the governor is really not allowing that. So that's a little bit of an update there that I just remembered about. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on Hershey Park and where they stand with reopening. Also got a response for someone saying that they trust the parks quite a bit and will probably watch some videos of what they are doing before I actually go to any parks. So they're going to make sure that they understand the procedures and stuff like that. Make sure.
I think that's a very, very good thing. I don't think you should show up at any park unless you know what their policies are.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
even reading on their website or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just to figure out like what to expect and what you should do. Because you don't want to forget what your beliefs are. You need to comply.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know what it is you need to comply with. So you don't want to be in the parking lot not complying, I mean, actually, like, for instance, Six Flags, you are not going to be able to get in the parking lot unless you already bought your parking ticket. You cannot buy a parking ticket on site. So, that's one of those things too. You need to make sure you know what to expect, because if you just decide, hey, I got my reservation, or you just show up at the park, sorry, you're you know, you didn't do everything you need to do. You're not getting in.
And then we got a response talking about the masks again, but this one was actually for a yes, considering them a loose article. He said they're just as much a loose article as a well-fitted glasses or a snug hat. Um, that I don't know, but
But again, he's talking about without a glasses strap.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
I think that's what makes it. That was to me. That's what makes it different.
I don't know. I'm a little indifferent again. I definitely think you should be able to wear them if you want to, but I don't think they should be forced
Well, yeah,
upon
but
you.
this isn't. I mean, the question isn't based on whether you should. The question is purely, do you think they're a loose article?
Yeah,
I mean, they're
uh,
no different than. They're actually even safer than glasses with glasses
and
straps because.
I can still see somewhat of an aspect of calling them a loose article because we did get another reply. I think, and I can't find it right now, but one of the replies was something along the lines of if a mask falls off, which there is a possibility of that happening, and hits someone in the face, that is highly more likely of getting someone infected with COVID than maybe a couple drops of saliva getting in their eyes or on their mouth.
Um, I don't know if I buy that.
I don't know.
I personally, I don't think you're really any. I I don't think there's much of a difference between. Actually, I think that might not even be as bad because the droplets would be absorbed in the mask. Definitely not ideal. And yes, you could catch it that way, but I
Yeah.
think that I think that the water droplets from being behind somebody could be more. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, I have no
I
idea how
just
that
feel
works,
like
but I mean, in a sense, that makes sense with me. And I think again, I think it, I think it really is up to the park to decide. I think they can classify it as a loose article, but I don't think they can enforce people to not wear them. Maybe they can say they're a loose article. You know, you can say it's a loose article, but I don't think it's fair. I think it's more fair to say you must wear a mask. In this time right now, I know some people are saying masks are absurd. We don't need to wear a mask. Blah 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 blah. I don't. You know, I'm not going to get into the political side of things where like masks are dumb. You know, it's things like that. But I think at this time, just to be safe, especially in such a highly congested area, very unsanitary theme parks, playgrounds, things like that are very unsanitary. They're going to be doing a lot of cleaning now. I think just to be safe for this time, I think it's definitely makes more sense to be required to wear a mask than to not be. And I think you can
yeah.
classify it as a loose article, and I think I can see an argument for that. But I don't think it's fair to say you cannot wear a mask. I don't know. We'll have to see what Holiday World does. Again, they might be changing their policy. I don't know. This is still almost it's getting closer. About 2 weeks to their opening, so we'll see what goes on with that. I'm sure people will be giving updates and trip reports and things like that. So we'll see. We'll see. This week's coming poll is relating back to the earlier topic of discussion about screaming on roller coasters. Is it possible for people to not scream on a roller coaster? Is it like Bob has said? He thinks it's almost for some people it's almost physically impossible. It's almost just a reaction to riding
Yeah,
it.
an autonomic response. Yeah.
hmm Do you think it's possible? And can parks enforce that? How will they enforce that? Maybe a better question as well. Can and how parks enforce that?
And to clarify the first part of that, it's not whether it's possible for you not to scream.
Yeah.
This is a generalization, as are there people out there that are, unable to keep themselves from screaming, when they go down that first drop or whatever. It's not necessarily referring to you personally.
Yeah, for sure. And so, if you want to be up to date on new things happening in the industry, because there's quite a bit of that happening right now, because I mean, we're opening back up. Parks are opening back up, as you guys saw. Even Cedar Point, a park that's closed, is teasing information on possibly new trains or a new design of Millennium Force, something along the lines of that. What do you think's going on in the industry? Bob? I'm just kidding. I was just
Wait,
poorly
what?
set up.
I stopped.
That
I
was
don't
just-
know where to
I don't
start
know.
from.
You don't need to start. I'm just gonna close it up.
Okay, good.
I'll just start. We're opening back up. Parks are opening back up, as you guys saw. Even Cedar Point, a park that's closed, is teasing
because that was bad.
information on.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And so, if to answer that poll, just go to coastertalkpodcast.com/poll, or you can follow us on Instagram at coastertalkpod. I'll post it on both the website and on the Instagram page. Also, you can check us out on Facebook at Coaster Talk Pod, Twitter at Coaster Talk _pod. Also, follow Bob's account at Coaster Talk Bob. You can contact the show, coastertalkpodcast.com/contact, and then you can email me or Bob, James at coastertalkpodcast.com, or Bob at coastertalkpodcast.com. This is a lot of fun. It was a good episode, Bob, and I'm looking forward to next week's show. Again, the weekly poll is, do you think it's possible for people not to scream on a roller coaster, and how and can the parks enforce it? We'll be talking about that on next week's show. We'll see you guys all then. That was pretty good. All right.
Yeah, that was pretty efficient.
It's pretty relevant.
Exporting audio now. Do you happen to still have the link from that I sent you last week?
The link for what?
To get my audio.
Oh, yeah, I think I do.
I'm gonna put it in the same place.
Nextcloud.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, everyone on the live stream. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes,
Thank you guys for
definitely.
being a
Thank you
part of it
guys.
and talking out. PS5 or Xbox, what you buying? I'm an Xbox guy. I know that was an old
Buying
comment.
it. NES
No.
and an Atari. Actually, I kind of do want to get the new Atari.
All right. We'll see you guys.
You guys probably don't even know there's a new Atari.
Yeah, we did. We did not know that. All right. See you guys.
I kind of won't. See you guys later.